Hey Julian, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing, Miss Sandy?
I'm doing great, thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I had the privilege to observe your lesson the other day. Um, let's go and go over the data here that I noted. So I, when I came into your room and I observed a math lesson, and what I saw on the smartboard was a warm up for the kids to do. It was a two-step word problem, multiplication word problem, and the kids had to solve the problem and write it either in their math books or on their whiteboards. That was the first part. And the second part was that then they had to create their own word problem and get a partner to solve it. Um, I noticed a lot of great things. The kids were engaged, they were excited, and I did see that about 65% of the kids were engaged. And for the second part, about 75% were engaged. Um, so that was the data here that was collected. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst lesson you've taught and 10 being the best, how
Okay.
that lesson?
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rank it probably a five, maybe a six. I've had some really great lessons and some ones that weren't so great, and I would say that one's probably like middle of the pack, mid tier. So I would give it a five or a six.
Awesome. Okay. All right. What pleased you about this lesson?
Sure. So, as someone who really enjoys when their students are like up and active and like, getting a chance to collaborate with their classmates, I really enjoyed the fact that a lot of them looked very happy and engaged. Again, it wasn't only like 65%, but overall, I think that like seeing that engagement, seeing them talk, especially after last year that we've had with COVID, where like kids had to be isolated, I feel like an opportunity for them to like, kind of feel like a kid again, talk with their neighbors, stuff like that, is pretty great to see. So I was really pleased about kind of that interaction that we saw from student to student.
Right. And it's always good to try to get the kids to do partner work. I think that's really good. It helps with team building. It helps with learning those skills that they need when they get older. They're going to have to need to work in the workplace. So that's really good to do, especially in the beginning of a lesson, to open it up, have them either turn and talk to their neighbor or have them do like some type of partner work. That's a really good idea.
Awesome.
What would you have to change to move the lesson closer to a 10?
Well, definitely more engagement. I think that 65% is okay, but I really want to see that closer to the 85-90 range. So anything else that I can add to that specific kind of like lesson, or anything that I can add to be able to enhance that number, is something that I definitely want to do. So, that's definitely something I want to do, is enhance those numbers up a little bit more.
Nice. Awesome. Yes. And we'll definitely talk more about that later. A little bit about just what are some things you can do, what are some you can implement into your daily instruction to see if we can get those numbers to go up a little bit.
Sure. Sure.
What would your students be doing differently if your class was a 10?
I think that what they'd be doing differently, honestly, in terms of engagement, they would just be able to just like socialize a little bit more. Like I said, in terms of like wanting to get that engagement up to like, 7 or 8 or 70 or 80 or 90%, I think one of the things that they would do is they'd be asking a lot more questions, getting a little bit more engaged in some of the topics that we discussed around math. I know that my students, tend to struggle a little bit more on the math side. So maybe they're just a little bit hesitant and reserved. But if we can get more questions being asked, more opportunity for them to be engaged throughout the lesson, that's what I would really like to do. So if anything, maybe on my behalf, asking more questions and answers, so that the students are more willing to ask those questions instead of just putting it all on them. But that's something I can do as a teacher, to be able to kind of like, get them a little more excited and more willing to do something different.
Perfect. To participate. Yeah.
Yeah,
More about what that would look like.
Yeah, so as I just mentioned, like what it would look like is for me, every single opportunity that we have, asking a question, maybe even having some kind of like reward system for anybody that is eager to ask to answer the questions that we have. But in order to be able to, again, uptake that engagement number, I have to do more on my behalf to be able to make sure that there's more opportunity for the students to be engaged in the lesson. So I think that it's kind of like a two-way street, but I have to give them an opportunity to be engaged. And I know with math, people are a little bit more hesitant to like just call out an answer. So I have to do more to be able to ask those questions, and a little bit of incentive for students is not a bad thing. So it's just,
Especially at that young age. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And prior to the observation, I know we did speak a little bit about struggling in math for like the kids that are having a hard time with their multiplication. I think that was part of the reason why their engagement was a little bit lower. Because of their facts. Do they know, are they fluent with their math facts?
Not fluent, no. I mean, of course, they're still practicing. I know that, as I mentioned last year, some students were, having the opportunity at home to be able to learn a lot of those, math facts and multiplication facts. But I also know that we're also coming into a year where you're going to have a lot of students on different levels. So it's our job as teachers to be able to kind of get them more to that homeostasis level and help them progress throughout their math. So if there's anything that we can do to be able to enhance them, and I know my students, they're like big tech kids. They love technology. They love phones, right? Yeah. So anything that we can do to be able to enhance, their interest in math, if it's through like games, if it's through models, if it's through anything like that, I will tell you that my kids will love it. So that's what I'm noticing. And I think that that's something that if we can try to tie in some kind of software or program or game or anything like that into this lesson, you're going to see that engagement number just go through the roof. So that's what I think, and that's what I could see as well.
And there are a lot of game-based programs out there that are kind of like Minecraft. So there's a lot of critical thinking skills, a lot of math involved. So that's definitely something that I can show you, model how to use it. And the data is very easy to pull from. So these are great individualized activities you can do from their laptops, and you can incorporate that into a math centers for them. So there is really no like paperwork, no prep on that part. You just literally just let them log in and they pick up where they left off the last day they were on. So, and once they finish the level, once they pass like a little quiz, it moves them up to the next one. So yeah, we'll dig a little bit deeper into these tools. I'm thinking about 2 right now off the bat, but maybe a different time and another meeting, maybe next week, to kind of dig a little bit deeper on these programs, on these tools, and how to implement them into your daily instruction. How does that sound?
No, that sounds fantastic. If you have some more of those tools, or if you have any programs that you want to send my way, I would really, really appreciate that. So, thank you for that. I'm excited, and I know my students will be super excited, especially with the holiday season coming up. If they can with some excitement, getting ready to be, if they're doing well in school, they may have some reward at home during the holiday season. So we'll see. But yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. Okay, sounds great. I'll shoot you an email about just a few dates and times, and then we can definitely meet up. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. See you later. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.